It took me a while to make this video, and the reason is I wanted to keep back testing it. What this is my swing trading momentum strategy, my tutorial, what I look for, and everything, different time frames, the daily, the weekly, and I use the EMAs. When I find a strong uptrend, I look for a retest to those EMAs, and I'll give you guys the specific EMAs that I like, and we tend to get massive bounce or continuation of uptrends. So, and I learned this all in my Discord, so you guys can kind of be like, oh, wow, okay, that was a nice trade there. And everything I'm going to learn is for the momentum trading. You'll see in the Discord. I'll post screenshots if you guys are in it. The Discord would look like this. But if you are in it, let's go to the charts here, and I'm going to show you guys plays I've been in and exactly what I'm looking for. So one of the first plays I was in that I was looking at was Lays. And you'll see this a lot here. So for my tutorial on how to find an uptrend, we have certain factors that we want to look for. We want to see that this EMA 50 is at the very bottom. If this EMA 50 is not at the very bottom, then we just ignore the trade, okay? And then what we do next is we want to see is, has price ever hit this upper Keltner channel? If price has not hit my upper Keltner channel, then it is not as bullish momentum compared to another stock. We could see EMA 50 at the bottom, and it could just be choppy price action, right? It could go up it could go down it. But if I see price is literally above my upper Keltner channel, and remember, just to go over my settings, I had this at a length of 20, and that is your EMA 20. That's literally all that length means. And then a multiplier of 4. So do keep that in that as my settings. And then my EMA 5 is this purple, yellow is the 10, 20 is the dark blue, and then EMA 50 is the light blue. So the purpose of this strategy is say, okay, EMA 50 is at the bottom. We hit the upper Keltner channel. We pierced it. You can definitely see. So what we do is we look for price to come back to the EMA 10, not the 5, but we want to skip the EMA. I call this skipping the EMA because the reason why I was backtesting, I was looking to take, some of every position, average down, and it just comes to be like, one, it could be too big of a loss. Like, let's say I take it on the 5, and then I want to take more on the 10, and then my average is halfway mark. It's just a little too much emotions, right? And then you could have a bigger loss, because what I like to do is I like to see around a 15% stop loss. So let's say if I take this at the 10 and Lays goes right through it, and then I want to also see a daily candle close under the 10. So then I just kind of adjust my system. Okay, it's not. But we didn't quite get to the 10 here. But as you can see, we reset the thing. It goes all the way up here again to the upper Keltner channel. And we do get a 10 play here. And you see why you want to wait for this daily candle to close. Because a lot of times you can get wicked like this, and it can scare you, and this went down about 7% against you if you bought it right on the 10. No big deal. You'll see that a lot. But a lot of the times you'll see it not wick, and it exactly touches it and goes up, and then you can see this massive gain on Lays. This was a very good risk versus reward. It went up 64%. What I always look for, because a lot of people ask me, what's the price target? What is the price target? What are we looking to sell at? Always 10%. There's a lot of times where, you'll get 10%, and then it'll go back to your average. And, you get another 10% and go back to your average, and then you could go negative. And so you don't want that nightmare. What you want to do is you want to lock out 10%, lock in your gains, because then the play is risk-free. Me personally, if I have 1,000 shares, I'm selling 900. 90% of my position at that 10% mark, and then I'm holding that last few 10% of shares at break even. So your break even is going to be right where you bought it at, just a penny above, which is like probably this line here, and then I will scale it out when I'm way above 10%. Now I'm looking for like at least 20% and above, and I scale out, and then, or you could just trail and stop it. I personally like to trail and stop it, as that's the easiest way to do it. Or you just manually say, okay, we're at 20% gains. We'll take out a little more, and then we're at 30%, a little more, and you see how that goes. Okay, so here's this Lays play here. It goes down to the EMA 50. You see how we play the 10. We do not play the 10 again if it comes back to this area. I repeat, we do not play it again. It's only a one and done. The only time we will play the 10 again is if it does this pattern here. It hits the 10, and then it goes back above the Keltner channel here. Then it resets the whole thing. Then we can play the 10 again. So that I get that asked a lot for my momentum trades. So as you can see, we go back to the 50, and then we had this massive gain in literally one day. That is a 93%. Take that 10% out, risk-free, don't have to worry about it, you'll never lose, and then as you can see in increments, you can take it out. You can do 80% at 10% and hold the last 20%. You can do 70%. Me personally, I put bigger money in. I want to get that fast 10%, okay? And you see how we don't play the EMA 50 again, but you can see also how it would have worked out. Another 50%. Not going to condone that. You can do it how you want, but do keep in mind, if you see a daily candle close below this EMA 50 and it's at least 15% under, you need to have a stop loss, okay? 15% stop loss, 20% max. I'm doing 15% stop loss on riskier stocks. If it's a bigger cap, then I'll probably lower it to 10%. So that was Lace. All of this is going to be alerted in the swing trade alerts, and I'll show you guys exactly what I'm doing. For example, this would be RVSN. I pinpointed what the EMA 50 is. I say, hey, right here was the 10 bounce here. I'm looking to buy RVSN right here. I did get this one after hours, and we made a massive pump. And you can look at other stocks like, for example, I played Zen. This is a bigger cap stock. Just because the daily is looking bearish, you can also see like a bigger time frame. I will look at the weekly to kind of get a bigger picture. I alerted Zim in the Discord right at 15.99 I got in. And why did I get in? Because of the EMA 50 was at this very bottom, right? A lot of the times I saw this upper band get touched, and I was like, it's a pretty big momentum stock, right? You also see, like, on the daily, we were able to touch this upper counter channel, so it kind of met my criteria for a bigger cap, and so we're in this. I expect bullish momentum coming through. Another stock we played was KULR, one of the fabulous company that I am actually still holding to this day. How did I get in? Well, for example, here we hit this upper counter channel, we go back to the 10, and then right in here, you had this nice bounce, right? It went all the way up to here. It made well over your 10%, but then it flushes back through. But, you can see how you make your gains here, and then we can play it again where we skip the 20. So you shouldn't be playing any play on the EMA 5 and 20 is what I'm saying. If you're doing exactly how I want to do it, because the problem is, let's say you take it on the 20, you have to wait all the way here to buy it again on the 50, which you would have still won. If you bought it, your average would be here. If you bought it the same size, it should be like halfway mark of the 20 and the 50. But you're looking at a pretty big loss here. From here to here, you're already down 30%. So whereas if you just be patient, wait, buy it on the 50, then you make this tremendous gain of 45%, scale out your 10%, and hold some at break even. Now, since I'm holding some at break even, I took 10% on KULR. I cannot lose on this play, okay? Because I'm locked in those gains. I took a majority of my position out, and now I'm holding small size. So my stop loss is right here at 189. You can see in my Discord, I'll go way up in here. It's way up in here. KULR, I did CTM. There's a lot of plays we've been playing. We've been getting a lot. Right in here, this is before price action went up. I said, hey, I'm buying KULR here at 1.89, okay? And literally right here is where that EMA 50 is. My stop loss is at 190, and I'm still holding this thing. If it wants to go up, I get massive gains. If it goes break down to my break even, it doesn't matter to me. CTM is something I'm still holding too. Look at this beautiful play right here. You play it on the 10, and I can show you guys time and time again all these plays. 39% on the 10. You take your 10% out, no big deal, hits your stop loss here. Or if it went up 20%, 30%, you should be taking little increments out, okay? And then right here is your EMA 50. You skip the 20, you go to the 50, and you're up 95% for my current position right here, okay? Obviously, I took 10% off because I don't know the future. I don't know this thing can go up 95%, but I am going to say, hey, to get rid of the risk, I'm taking some gains. So you see the kind of the power of this thing. I can go to company after company, FIO right in here. You see the pattern here. I'm going to show you guys bad examples too. But here's FIO. It touches the upper band. When do you see the EMA 50 at the bottom? And this one was a very tricky one. We didn't see it till right in here on this day. You see how this EMA 50 went at the very bottom, and then it started acting as big bullish momentum. This thing went up over 100%. On this system here. Massive move up in here. This was a really big gain from here to here. This was FIO here. Looks like yeah, it was a big gain. I remember that touching it. Okay, it was this candle right here. It went up over almost 100% on that day. But I like to see it very clear though. If I don't see that EMA 50 very clear, I don't take it. Okay. A bad example is Hollow, and I discussed this thing in my YouTube videos before. You see how Hollow hits the upper ATR4, but we don't see the EMA 50 at the bottom. It's in the middle. And kind of a lot of the times is what I've noticed is a false signal. It's a false breakout thinking, oh, this is bullish, but when it's really not. Because the EMA 50 is telling us a false signal where, hey, now it's at the top and now it needs to be shorted. And you can see that with FFIE. Same pattern here. Why did this bullish momentum not last? It's because of this false signal we're getting. Okay, XTIA, big bullish momentums. But look at this where the stock is just a false breakout. And you'll see that a lot. Big move up, lures in buyers, and a lot of FOMOing. But we see the EMA 50 is at the very top. It's not at the bottom. So, I showed you guys lighter. Here's an example of why you take those 10%. I took this in the Discord. We had this big move up. EMA 50 was at the bottom. And you can see right here, if you got it on this one, we touched this upper band. This was the big move on the EMA 50 here, right? Massive move. This was a over 200% move. Then it comes back to the 10. You could take this little bounce, right? Gives you barely 15%. That's why we take the 10%. And then it goes to the 50, scares us a little, and then comes back up and gives us a little over 10%. So, got to take your 10%, okay? I remember pre-market, this was up 20%, so that's why I sold it quite easily. But, and then you can see, like, now it's acting as resistance, so, and we only play it one time, so if it comes back, we don't play it again, so. 10%, in my opinion, is very good. If you take a loss, it's no big deal. You've seen the plays, you've seen the examples, back-test it. There's plenty of plays that go massive. 50% is kind of actually, pretty decent. But I've seen plays that only give me those 10%. So I rather, do a fine line. Do you want to take off a little bit? Do you want to take off most of it at 10%? But you got to lock it in at 10%. And if once that happens, there is no more price targets. What should I do? Should I keep holding? You have a strict plan in place, right? You really do have a strict plan. Obviously, bigger cap stocks, maybe you can lessen it to 5% gain because they are bigger caps. They're not going to move as fast. But yeah, I've seen this happen many, many times. And in the Discord, I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I'm doing, exactly where I'm buying it, and all these stuff alerted in the Discord, okay? So I try to be, it took me a while to make this video because I wanted to make sure this really worked. Another play was Fubo. This is going to work with better companies too. If you do the analysis, you look at the news, a lot of these companies that are pumping, they got really good news on them. They got really good, something's great happening about them. So that's what I like about it. We hit this upper Keltner channel. I played Fubo where? On this EMA 10. Now, granted, you're not going to see this, but after hours, we did hit this EMA 10. If I see after hours we're coming into the EMA 10 or pre-market, I'll start buying it, right? Because a lot of times price can get just barely close to it and pump. We made easily 10%. This was a 12% bounce. I took my 10%, okay? And that's why you take those gains. And then we come back to this EMA 10, and this is actually a very, very bullish play because a lot of times, I will say, a lot of times you're like, okay, can you count this as the touch because I didn't do it? Only market hours touches touch. So yeah, you could play this here again, and how convenient the algos are kind of looking at this area and be like, yeah, this is very bullish. They hit it and it's starting to pump up again. I like this play. And your stop loss will be, well, kind of just it, about 15%. Well, if 15% goes down here, well, I could be like, you know what? I can make a very tight stop on this now. I could say, if it goes about 6%, halfway mark, I'll do, about 7%. I'll get stopped out. I'll play it on this EMA 50, right? Because that's the next EMA I like it. So I can do a very tight stop and make almost a massive risk versus reward on this play. So you just got to kind of adjust it, okay? We made gains on Fubo too. I played RVSN. And I can show you example after example. After hours, it touched the same thing. And we went from all the way here to the next day, 25% gain. Okay, so you guys are getting the plan. I'm actually waiting for this EMA 50 here. And then you can see right here on the 10, it bounced. So remember, we skip the 5 and we play the 10. We skip the 20 and we play the 50. We only play each, the 10 and 50 one time. And the only time it resets is if If this price goes all the way back to ATR4, which is the upper Keltner channel, then I'll play the 10 again. So I hope that clarifies and all of that. And then I'll play the 10 and 50 again. So, yeah, look at a lot of the stuff. You could go to GRR. You can see, look at this massive momentum play. We hit the 10. We have a massive bounce. We hit the 50. And look at these beautiful plays, guys. 52% gain. RGTI, I want to show you guys an example of how to use the daily and weekly now. This is the last thing I'm going to show you, and this is very, very important. Very, very important. So if you see a very bullish stock, obviously RGTI is extremely bullish. It's hitting this upper channel. We take this on the 10 here, and look at this massive move. It goes up on the 10. You're going to get those, and that's why you're going to want to hold a little position there. I mean, from this 10 here, from $7 to 20, you tell me that's not nice, all right? But we come through. We break through the 20. We skip the EMA. This is why I don't like playing the 20, because we can break all the way through it and go to a crucial level. And we broke through the 50. Would you get stopped out on this candle? The answer is no. I actually would not play this, and when I look at the weekly candle, what is the weekly candle telling me? Well, the weekly candle is going to match. So remember, EMA 20 is going to match near an EMA 50 on the daily. Okay? EMA 20 is going to match an EMA 50. So if you see, it's not bad to buy it right in here. Get some small. This is a very volatile stock. Okay? It's not bad to buy it here, but you got to understand is price can come back to this, touch this EMA 20, and it's going to be very close to your daily EMA 50. And a lot of times as the algos hits that weekly and then pumps it, you get the most precise bottom on the one that gives you the best signal. This was an 87% gain, okay? Now, if the weekly gives me a better signal than the daily, I'm going to take the weekly. A company that I'm watching right now is this. You're going to see this a lot. Look at the RCAT. RCAT has an EMA 50 getting touched right now, right? We have this ATR4 here, upper Keltner, and then we're touching the EMA 50. But look at the weekly. What is the weekly telling me? That we can go a little farther down. So I have more success if I just wait for this EMA 20, because the daily, sometimes I'll see the daily EMA 50 give me a better entry than the weekly EMA 20. So just kind of like, obviously these are going to be the really big trends. You can't use this all the time. It's got to be, RCAT hitting an upper band on a weekly chart is really good. RGTI doing that. So just keep in mind, if it's a really big trend, do that analysis, okay? We've seen GRR, we'll see if this had a weekly channel. And yeah, you can see how this one, you kind of look for that next level here. The weekly EMAs are going to be really big. But yeah, so I just want to clarify a lot of things. There's a lot of things there is a lot of things you got to do. For me, sifting through these stocks is the hardest part. I usually look for stocks over 1 million volume. If it doesn't have over a 1 million volume, I just don't like it, because then it's going to be more manipulation. Lesser volume is going to have bigger spreads. So I look for stocks that are always 1 million volume. And I will do like 0 to, for this screener here, I can look at my screeners. For penny stock momentum, I call it, I would do approximately $0 to $10. And then I do at least a 1 million volume. So, and when I click this, you can see I go through all these stocks. Very easy to sift through. ORKT, EMA 50s at the top. You can see how on this one, we had this upper band here, we had this touch here, you don't play it again, bam, you take your fast gains. And you can see how this works a lot. You get your 13%. And you just keep going through and through and through, and you'll see lots of plays like this that actually work. And then you just right-click it on your Webull chart, add it to watch list, and then go to your My Stocks that you added to the watch list, and you just take an eye on it. So that's how I look at it. It's a lot of sifting through. It takes a lot of time. I'm not going to lie. It really does. So more eyes, the better. So that's how I'm trading the momentum stocks. I hope you guys found this video. Sorry it's long. It's 20 minutes long. But for all the new people that are watching this, if you guys want to join the premium Discord, if you've just been watching my YouTube videos, this is legit. This is literally how I'm doing it. This is how I make consistent profits and stay in the market, okay? If you guys want to join the Discord, hit the link down below in YouTube comments below, and in the description, there's a link that says join the premium Discord for my alerts and system. We'll take you to this free chat landing page. Please read how to subscribe. Read the avoid scammers page. I will never message you. Trade your accounts, mirror trade, or copy trade or any of that, and all my payments are processed through Discord. So no, anything with crypto is a scam. Okay, so don't get lured into that stuff. If you hit day trade alerts right in here under my subscriptions tab, you'll get alerted. You'll get my swing trades and my day trades for $12 a month. Literally only $12 a month. I try to make it a fair price that's worth my time, worth with you to dip your toes in the water and learn a strategy that works. I wish I knew this in the very beginning, but every trader loses money before they actually buckle down. So if you're in here, you're probably wanting to buckle down and you're like, man, yeah, I don't want to lose any more money. So if you hit the day trade alerts, you'll get access to all my subscriptions. Subscribe on the computer to avoid the iOS fee, and it's only $12 a month. You guys are going to love my day trading strategy just as much as my swing trading. It's a little more advanced, but I promise you I'll make it so easy that anyone can do it. So this is my strategy. This is how I do swing trading. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We're looking for momentum trades, so if price hits the upper counter channel, we take the EMA 10 and the EMA 50. Only play each level once. Kind of look at each time frame to see, am I getting a better signal on the weekly or am I getting a better signal on the daily? Obviously, those are going to be the bigger like stocks that you'll have to do that, or trends. So hope you guys like this. Give it a like, subscribe, comment if you want to see more updates about this. This is one of my most favorite strategies of playing with the trend. It works in any market cap, okay? Small caps, big caps, it doesn't matter. And I'll post all my alerts in the swing trade. A lot of times I'll post exactly when I'm looking to buy. Like Zim, I said I'm buying at $15.99, and then because that's correlated with the EMA 50, okay? And that's kind of how I'm making my reasoning. It's not going to be perfect. You're not going to get, sometimes it'll hit the 50, sometimes it'll go a little under the 50, sometimes it'll get very close. So I try to get a little above the 50, and then I look at the news and be like, okay, is the news justified for why the stock's down and all that? So, all right, guys, I'll see you guys in the Discord. Happy weekend. I hope to see you guys there. Let's make some money. Watch this video, and this is how, if you guys watch the end to it, you guys are probably serious and learning this. This is a great way to trade momentum with a clear risk. What you're risking, if you have $1,000 account, you're looking at 15% stop loss, you're going to lose a $150, but that $1,000 you've seen making, at least 10%, you're going to make 100, and then you're holding some, and you see how it can grow real fast, okay? So I really like this for small accounts, big accounts, whatever account you have. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.